critical response from others in the region.
Behind the lavish praise heaped on his hosts, President Trump used this speech to deliver a tough message to Arab and Muslim governments. Deal with the ideology that fuels terrorism now, or live with it for generations to come. He went out of his way to avoid the sort of inflammatory language he's more usually known for, and his repeated condemnation of Saudi Arabia's regional rival Iran will have pleased the Gulf Arab leaders listening. Unlike his predecessor, Barack Obama, this US president made no mention of human rights or democracy, but he did condemn the oppression of women, and amongst several cynical reactions to the speech from around the region on social media, some have pointed out that here in Saudi Arabia, women are forbidden to drive and there are no parliamentary elections. In Iran, the country accused today of being responsible for much of the current terrorism across the Middle East, they've just had a fair election and women are free to drive.
Reporting from Riyadh. The UN Security Council will meet on Tuesday to discuss the latest test of a missile by North Korea. The ballistic missile travelled around 500 kilometres before landing in the Sea of Japan. Meanwhile, it appears Kim Jong-un is interested in more than just military strength. He's encouraging an expanding middle class to buy consumer goods. Trade officials in South Korea say there's been a sharp rise in the number of cars, TVs and mobile phones being exported from China to North Korea over the past year. As I heard from our Asia-Pacific editor, Celia Happen.
Television's sales are up 90% this quarter. $21 million worth of televisions were shipped over from China. We're talking about mobile phones. Sales of those are up 140% in the first quarter of this year. And we're also talking about cars. Chinese cars are really the only kinds of cars that North Koreans can buy, because North Korea's only car company closed down a few years ago. And so cars are slowly filling the roads of the capital, Pyongyang, and all of those cars are Chinese. So sales of cars are up 63%.
This all points to a rather, perhaps not affluent, but not really a hard-up nation, yet we're still being told that North Korea and its people are facing real poverty and hardship.
Yes, it does go against the conventional idea of what North Korea is like. So yes, there are still parts where people regularly struggle with famine, but North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has basically two twin policies that he's trying to push. One is the development of North Korea's weapons program, which we hear about all the time, but the other one is the development of private enterprise. So he's allowed private marketplaces to be opened up, and he's allowed people to start their own little businesses, making things at home and then selling them in market stalls. This is leading to the rise of kind of a nascent middle class in North Korea. People have a little bit more of their own money, and they're starting to spend on Chinese goods.
But if China is exporting all these goods to North Korea, does that not
It depends on how you look at it. Now, China has done things that it thinks will hurt the North Korean elite. It is following UN sanctions by, for example, stopping the imports of North Korean coal. That really does hurt the North Korean economy, but it generally hurts those at the very top of the North Korean economy, or so some in China argue. China's also gone so far as to ban things, a long list of things that can be used for dual-use purposes. So things that can be used for civilian uses, but also for military uses. Those things cannot be exported to North Korea.
Celia Hatton speaking to me a little earlier. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been reappointed as the leader of the governing AK party after being absent from the role for almost 1,000 days. He's back in the job because of a key change included in last month's constitutional referendum. Danny Eberhard listened to his speech to the party.
Sevgili yol arkadaşlarım,